Om Shanti. Today Baba says that I give you unified, undivided directions. Now you see, in a world which is very vastly divided by opinions, Baba gives us very undivided opinion and direction, in which there is no confusion, there is absolute clarity, and it is unified directions from the one ocean of knowledge, and there is no scope for confusion in that. And Baba comes and makes it so clear what is what, and everything Baba clarifies with a lot of clarity. You see, in the world, you ask anything to anybody, they say, it depends, it is subjective, or it is, or I don't know, nobody knows. But Baba never uses this language. Baba says, I am the one who knows. I am God, the truth, and I tell you everything. I tell you the truth about everything. And Baba never says this depends on this or that. No. Baba says that this is true at all times for everybody. And Baba never says that, it is subjective. No, it is not subjective. So you see, there are people in the world who would say that right and wrong is subjective, good and bad is subjective. But good and bad is not subjective. Good and bad is very clear, and we come to know of all these things when Baba comes. And you see, yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, and they said that if you belong to a certain religion, then killing a cow is wrong, but if you belong to another religion, then killing a cow is right. So I said, wrong and right doesn't depend on what religion you belong to. You kill a cow, you kill a mosquito, you kill a human being, killing is killing. You cannot kill. So if you kill, that's a sin. So whether it's a chicken you kill, whether it's a cow you kill, whether it's a pig you kill, whether it's a human being you kill, killing is killing. But you see, the law would say that killing a human being is murder, but killing a chicken is not murder. So that's how it works in the world. But Baba doesn't leave anything to our imagination or to subjectivity. And Baba gives very clear, unified, undivided directions to us. And directions about what is what, and very clear directions about what we need to do. And so there are two kinds of directions that Baba gives. First takes the form of opinion. So Baba gives us the truth about everything, and then Baba gives us the direction about what to do. So first thing we will take up is the opinion that Baba gives. Now Baba tells us that there are two things. So you see, in the world they say that sorrow and happiness exist together. So there is always sorrow and there is always happiness. But Baba gives us the knowledge of the drama, and Baba says that no, when there is Satyug and Tretayug, there is happiness, and that is happiness unlimited. So there is nothing unattained, there is no trace of sorrow, there is complete ignorance of sorrow, and that is happiness unlimited in Satyug and Treta Yuga. And you see, in Hindi, We have a saying, तुम मात पिता हम बालक तेरे, तुम्हारी कृपा से सुख घनेरे, which means you are my mother and father, and when you bless me, I get unlimited happiness. Now, people are singing this, but they don't know what is unlimited happiness, and they don't know that they don't know when God comes and gives that blessing of unlimited happiness. And then Baba says that I am the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. So I never give you sorrow. So I do not create a world where you suffer and you are in sorrow, because people think that the suffering and the sorrow is a gift from God. Yes, and there are in many so-called spiritual paths, you are told that this is a gift from God and embrace the suffering. So, suffer in happiness. But Baba says, no, I do not give you any suffering. Suffering and sorrow is not my gift. It is Ravan's curse. And because you belong to Ravan, because you listen to Ravan, because you follow Ravan's directions, that is why you are in sorrow. If you take my inheritance, so there are two things. There is Baba's inheritance, which we get in Sangam Yug, and there is Ravan's curse, which we get from Copper Age. And Baba says, my inheritance is of unlimited happiness, and Ravan's curse is of sorrow. And now I teach you how to liberate from Ravan. Yes, and it's very important that we understand the opinion or the truth that Baba gives us, because you see, what you believe determines how you behave. So it's very important to understand that your belief is the basis of your behavior, and your behavior is the basis of your destiny. So if you don't clarify your belief system, then there can be no change in behavior. That is why when Baba comes, Baba gives us this true directions. And when we change, when we think about it, churn it, and our belief system starts changing according to Baba's guidance, then all the directions that Ravan gives us, is washed away. And that's why Baba says, the first task that I do is clean your intellect. Baba, what does Baba do? Baba cleans our intellect, and our intellect is full of a lot of rubbish. It is full of Ravan's curse. And what is our intellect full of? So you see, our intellect is full of the vicious directions of Ravan, where we think lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed are normal and natural. And they are natural and they are beneficial. And people say that any normal human being would be lustful and angry, and it is normal behavior. And all of this is Ravan's direction. And I remember there was this one psychologist, and I was talking to her, and she was telling me that according to psychology, if you are not capable of feeling negative feelings, so if you're not capable of feeling sorrow or guilt or anger or resentment, or then you are not normal. So they say that it is important for you to feel love and peace and joy, but it's also important for you to feel, angry and lustful and everything else. But Baba says that this is Ravan's curse. Ravan makes you believe in these things, and then Ravan tells you that your sorrow is because you have unfulfilled vicious desires. Yes, and when those vicious desires will be fulfilled, then you will be in happiness. So that is Ravan's belief system. But Baba tells us, no, that's not true. And you see, these days people are just running after attainments and acquisitions and lust and greed and attachment is driving them, because or name and fame, they are running after that, and they are running after subscribers and followers and validation and appreciation, because they think that all of this on the external is going to make you happy and peaceful. But this is what Ravan has misguided us in. And Baba says, no, you are the source, you are the soul, and whose mind is it? It is my mind. The thoughts and feelings in the mind are created by me. And my mind is a reflection of me, the soul. So as I am, so is my state of thoughts and feelings. So if I am empty, so the soul is made of 7 qualities: knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss and power. And Baba says, when you are empty, when you are discharged, then no matter what you attain outside, your mind cannot create feelings and thoughts of happiness and peace. That's not possible, because it is your mind, and when you are empty, then your mind will be full of negativity and full of discontentment. So these things Baba tells us, and Baba says that because of the karma you have done by following Ravan's directions. So you see, people think that the more they engage in lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, the more happy they will become. But actually, the more you indulge in vices, you create negative karma, and that further depletes your spiritual energy, and you become unhappier and unhappier. So this is what Baba tells us and corrects us about. So Baba cleans our intellect, and then Baba tells us that this is a 5,000-year cycle, and this cycle is now about to turn. You see, there is a very big belief system that we carry in the world that this cycle is millions of years long, and we are somewhere in the middle. Yes, so science would tell you that the universe came into existence some 14 billion years ago, and then it will destroy some next couple of million years later. So you are somewhere in the middle, so relax. And then the scriptures will tell you that the Satyug, that was the beginning of this universe, it was some lakhs of years ago, and then Kali Yuga is still 40,000 years to go. So then you're still in the middle somewhere, so relax. But Baba gives us the accurate picture of the cycle, and Baba says that, so do you remember the picture of the cycle? Do you remember the picture of the drama wheel? So in the course we send those pictures, and if anybody doesn't have, they can tell. So that is the knowledge that Baba gives us, that Satyug or heaven was just 5,000 years ago, and now again it's going to be heaven tomorrow. So this is the knowledge that Baba gives us, and Baba says you don't have time. You cannot waste time. This is the time, and this is the time to prepare to go back to your sweet home of silence and to your sweet home of happiness, to Satyug. So this is the knowledge that Baba gives us. And you see, the knowledge of time is very important. I remember there was this one time when I had a friend in school, and she was really good at studies, and she came for the exam, and then she said while we were entering, so are you ready for your physics exam? I said, no, it's not your physics exam, it's your chemistry exam today. So she said, is it chemistry today? So I said, yes. So then she said, no, you double check. So I double checked, and it was chemistry. And then she had prepared for the physics exam that day. And she failed in the chemistry exam. And she was a really good student. So she said that, just because you miscalculated the time or the date, that's why a bright student would fail. So Baba says it's very important that you understand it's a very finite cycle of 5,000 years. It's not millions of years, and you are at the end of it, and then this is the time to do what you need to do. It is now or never. You cannot procrastinate. You cannot say tomorrow. It is now or never. And Baba says that it is so interesting that people have believed that it is millions of years cycle, whereas it's very easy to calculate that it's not millions of years. And you see, we have had a lot of study about population, and then if I'm not wrong, Malthus theory says that population increases by geometric progression. And if you look at the history of population, then you get the data that 100 years back, the world population was approximately 2 billion. And now it is approximately, more than 8 billion. And then before that, another 100 years ago, it was approximately 1 billion. So if it takes the population to increase from 1 billion to 8 billion, it takes only 200 years. Then it doesn't make any sense to think that the population became 1 billion in millions of years. And Baba says that if you just calculated it well, you would know that what I'm saying, that 5,000 years ago, you were very small in number, and it was a deity kingdom, and you were that was the world population, and you were very small in number, approximately 9 lakhs, and that was the starting of the deity kingdom. And it is not a cycle of millions of years ago, because if it was lakhs of years of Satyug, then the population would be very huge. Just calculate how much the population will increase in lakhs of years. So Baba says it's very simple calculation. And then Baba says that you also hear in Christianity that it is written that 3,000 years before Christ, India was heaven. But we don't pay attention to these things, and Baba says it is a very limited cycle and you are at the end, and this is an ever repeating cycle, and you are again going back to Satyug, and it is now or never. And Baba says that you cannot go to a pure world without becoming pure. So Baba gives us the knowledge that the only way to change your reality is to change your stage of being. Yes. So you see, what does the law of attraction tell you? That you attract as you are. Yes. So you don't attract what you want, you attract as you are. And if you are impure, how can you attract a world of purity? Yes, I'll tell you one incident. So there was this one girl and she lived with 30 cats, in the residential colony that the center is. There was this girl and she lived with 30 cats, and she was about 35 years of age, and she came to the center once, and then she was not in good mental state. And then I asked her, so what is your life experience, and would you like to share something about yourself? Then she said that while I was growing up, my father was very abusive towards my mother, and he would sometimes beat me up also. And I always, day in and day out, while sleeping, eating, getting up, I only had this one thought, that I shouldn't marry someone who is like my father. And then I got married, and when I got married, then my husband was the replica of my father, and he was also equally abusive. And when he used to be very violent with me, then slowly, gradually, I started feeling that I'm not in good mental health. And then I just escaped, ran away one day. And then I started living with animals. And she said, it's almost a zoo out there, and 30 cats. You cannot even imagine, it's a very, I live in a very dirty environment, if you logically say. But I live like that, and I have no strength to come back to society and live with, people. So she shared this, and why I'm sharing this with you is because what we don't understand is, if you think about your father all day, then even if you don't want him in your life, you will attract the same kind of personality. So Baba tells us that it is not what you want, it's who you are. Your thoughts, your karma right now, that's what will decide what you will have in future. So Baba tells us that now I give you clear directions about the fact that you have to be pure now, and purity is the main thing. And Baba says, whatever context you are in, you may be a little child, you may be an adult, you may be working, you may be non-working, you may be in the family, you may be outside the family. But Baba says, if you want to move to a world of purity, you have to become pure. And when you become pure, then you will deserve a world of purity. So Baba tells us these laws, and Baba tells us that, Baba gives us the direction that while living in the household, live like a lotus. So, live with everyone, but be completely detached. And in that state of detachment, practice purity. So how can you be detached when you're not associated with people, places, and things on the basis of vices? So, when there are vices, there cannot be attachment, there cannot be detachment. You cannot be a lotus with vices. So if you look at the vices, what are the vices? The vices are basically various forms of attachments. When you have attachment to material things, it's called greed. When you have attachment to other people's bodies, it is called lust. When you have attachment to emotions that emotional attachment to people and relationships, it is called attachment. And then when you have attachment to your own acquired, labels, titles, positions, that is called ego. So Baba says, when you are vicious, you are attached. So when Baba says, be like a lotus, it means that be pure when you are living in the household. And this is the main direction that Baba gives us, because without becoming pure, we cannot go to a world of purity. And Baba tells us one very interesting thing today in the Murli, that in this whole world, you are the only ones who have love for God. Yes, people in the world, see, I have conducted many courses until today, and in every course I ask one question always. That question is, what is your relationship with God? And whenever I have asked this question, people say that I beg and He gives. So, we are associated with God in the world either out of selfish concerns or out of fear, but there is no love for God. And mostly the belief that we carry is that God is the provider, and if you bribe Him well, if you're good to Him, if you follow His directions, then He will give you what you need. So you don't need God, you need material things, but He is the provider of material things, so you need God to provide you with material things. So God is not the aim, God is the source. God is the means. So Baba says that is how people think about me, but you are the only ones who have love for me. And you see, love is the most powerful spiritual energy. And the only transformation that happens in the world happens with the power of love. And you see, if you love someone, then you change in his company. And most people are not changing the right way because they don't love the right one. Yes, and people are, so if you look at the world statistics today, they are saying that the biggest source of stress in the world is relationships. So you are becoming stressed from peaceful, you are changing because you are loving human beings. And company colors. So if you, and when you are in love, your heart is open, and then the other one is able to influence you. They are able to change you, they are able to bring about transformation in you. And Baba says that nobody in the whole world loves me. You are the only ones who love me, because we are the ones who know Baba, that Baba is the one I am a soul and I have all relationships with Baba. And all my attainments are with Baba. And when you realize that, you remember Baba with love. And when you remember Baba with love, then Baba gives you the, Baba's company colors you. And in love, all your vices, all your sins, they absolve, and then you come up with your pure state. So Baba says there are two directions mainly that Baba gives. First is be pure and second is be yogi. Because you want to burn your sins of 63 births, you need the fire of yoga. And who do you have yoga with? With the one you love. If you love a human being, if you love things, so you see there is one person and he loves his business too much. And he always has yoga with that business only. So, any email, any message from his business place, he will be completely switched off from here and he'll just pay attention to that. So, people love people, places, and things here. But Baba says, you love me when you realize that you are a soul and I am your everyone and everything. So when you have yoga with me, then the quality of yoga is you become like the one you have yoga with. So Baba says, I am the most pure, I am the ocean of purity, I am the purifier. And when you remember me with love, then you will transform yourself into a pure soul. All your sins will get burned in this fire of yoga. And then Baba says, in the household, do not engage in thought, word, and action motivated by lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. And you see, before every thought, every word, every action, check yourself. Where is this coming from? If it is coming from a place of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, do not engage in it. Just stop yourself. Go to Baba, change your inner state, and then decide whether you want to act on that thought or not. So let's say, you feel the urge to correct somebody. Now you have to check, where is this coming from? Is it coming from a place of criticism? Is it coming from a place of, anger that I don't like what they are doing? Or is it coming from a place of, I am okay with whatever they are doing? And I'm just being Baba's instrument. Now, if it is coming from a place of criticism, don't correct that person right now. Correct yourself first, because the one who needs correction can't correct another one. So then you are the one who need correction first. So Baba says, just take care to engage in only actions. Check your thought, think before you think before you speak, think before you act, because actions have consequences. So when you live in the family, be very centered within and think before you do everything, and choose your actions on the basis of pure motivations, not on the basis of vicious motivations given by Ravan. So these are two things Baba says: be pure, be yogi. And then Baba says, serve, be the helper of Baba. Be Baba's right hand. And Baba says, you see, God is never worshipped alone. God is always worshipped with his helpers. So do you establish a shivling alone? No, there is saligram with it. Do you worship God alone? No, there are deities with him. Do you rotate the rosary alone? No, there is the the pool, Shiv Baba. Then there are other beads who are the children who became Baba's helpers. So Baba says, if you become the helper in my task, then you become the worship worthy, and you have to change from the worshipper to the worship worthy. So these are Baba's directions that Baba gives us. Baba also gives us a lot of clarity about the difference between a world of happiness and a world of sorrow, and the difference between material happiness and real happiness. Because there are people in the world who today say that I have a big house and I have cars and a lot of money, so I am happy. But Baba says they don't understand what happiness is, because happiness means health, wealth, and happiness together. So, tan, man, dhan, sambandh, body, mind, wealth, and relationships. If all these factors are not doing well for you, then that is not true happiness. Now, in the world, people think only money is happiness. But then, what about untimely death? What about disease? So, Baba says, this is not a world of happiness, and I tell you what you were really deserving of, what the real world of happiness looks like. Okay, so these are God's undivided, unified opinions and directions, and when we follow these, then we take the inheritance from Baba, which is the world of happiness. Okay, Om Shanti.